Wanted to share a nice coverage for you guys to defend crossing routes from the popular formations like gun bunch and trips tight end without having to resort to using them yourself or using the zone drop adjustments. In one of my last videos, I showed you guys how cover 9 and quarters added some new logic to defend these crossing routes from these trip sets, but it was taken out within a few days and really isn't an option anymore. So if you run a man match based defense like me, or just want another tool in your toolbox to change things up, or if whatever you're currently using just isn't working for whatever reason, you should definitely consider cover 3 buzz. So you can find this in many different formations, nickel normal, some dime sets. I'm sure it's in dollar or anything like that, but in my opinion, it is the best in big nickel over G. So this year they took out a play in here called 4-lock palms, and they replaced it with cover 3 buzz match. And you would think the only difference is just that you're swapping the weak hook and the weak flat defenders between the safety and the will linebacker, but that allows some unique coverage behaviors to occur. And in my opinion, it handles these types of plays like PA crossers and gun Trey Y-Flex much better. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. So we all know this play all too well. One of the most popular plays, from the worst of players to even the best of players use this because really very few defenses can actually cover this crossing route from the number 3 wide receiver for whatever reason. So if I actually just get out of cover and just go into like a cover 2 or a cover 3, where people like to shade things, cloud flats, whatever, and you can simply just run off that corner, or you don't even usually need to. That corner is usually way away from ever making a play on the ball. You just find that sweet spot here that's just not really very easy to defend. And like I was saying earlier, I showed a video on cover 9 and quarters where this backside safety can get involved and do a good job of defending that crosser. But like I was saying, that was quickly taken out of the game, and now it's just spot drop zone coverage on that side. And just like the cover 3 that I showed you there, this is going to get underneath both the corner and the safety. And you could run, man coverage, whatever that is, cover 2 man or cover 1 man. But unless you have the deep zone adjustment flat over there, usually that wide receiver is going to get open. Even if it's a matchup in your favor, he's going to win that. Now you can do something like this, of course, where if you put your guys in cloud flats and do a 25-yard zone adjustment, that can of course work, and that'll take away the crosser. But then you have really nobody underneath to defend like a simple table route or a simple swing from the running back, or even the tight end coming underneath. And then if you kind of stack your zones, where I don't know if I can do it now, but yeah, if this guy's in, say, a curl flat, and then you could do a cloud flat over here and a deep zone there, that's fine. That'll defend the short and the deep, but then you're really left vulnerable right in the middle here. So that's one issue I see with that. And then also for me, and I'm sure maybe some of you, is that if you are particularly running a match-based defense and you don't set up your zone drop adjustments, if you try to add in zone drop adjustments, it's really wonky to switch between the two, because then you have to back out of menus and every single play. Sometimes you want to defend that crosser, you got to go back, put those in. Sometimes you want to play match on other things, then you got to go reset those. And then the current way of quote unquote quickly switching between the two, where you just reset your play, is kind of a mess, because then everything gets flipped and your defense is totally disastrous. So that's definitely not something you want. Okay, so after all that rambling, we can finally get into the play at hand, which is cover 3 buzz. So quickly before I show it, there's a cover 3 buzz and a cover 3 buzz match. It really doesn't matter, because against these trip sets that this is important on, they're going to play identical. They're going to be predominantly spot drop zone across the board, except for both of them, this weak safety, weak hook is actually going to match the crosser that we're trying to defend. So that's important to note. Doesn't really matter which one. The other thing is that some, I believe, will have that safety and a hook be the strong safety over here, which you don't want. You want him to be the weak safety here so he can poach that crosser. If you call it out of big nickel over G with auto align on, he will always be in the right spot. Okay, so now let's go ahead and finally run it. We run off the corner with the tight end here, and you'll see how that weak side safety will match this guy. And in some cases, if you have a good receiver, he'll still get open. So 2 things I would recommend. I don't know how willing you are to do this, but if you have some abilities on these safeties like acrobat or the deep out zone, that's going to get locked out because he'll jump and make a play on that. If it's an acrobat or if he has a deep out zone, he will, even after the receiver catches it, he'll make contact with him and the receiver will drop the ball, even if it's somebody like Mike Evans who has good abilities, good stats, good ratings, and even if he's in the zone, quote unquote, said that a few times, he will drop the ball. Okay, now if you don't want to do that, or if you just want to guarantee better coverage in general, this is something I showed before. For whatever reason, if you walk that safety down, he will play it much, much better. And what's cool about big nickel over G is that just if you show blitz, so triangle or Y and then left on the D-pad, he will come down. Of course, I touched him before I did that, so then he won't come down. But as long as we don't touch him before we do that and we call show blitz, he will come down right here. Okay, so now for whatever reason, it gives him better leverage to cut that crosser. So now if I do the exact same thing and if I try to squeeze in that crosser, you'll see that you really can't do it there, and he makes a play on that ball. Nice. So then really, I mean, it's just about calling this play and showing blitz and you're set to go. Likely you're going to be using this strong hook. So really what I would just do is, deliver number 3 to that weak crosser, because the weak hook, which is the safety, will meet that crosser kind of right around here as you saw. So you just need to make sure that you're not way over here allowing a quick throw or a slant or something like that before he gets there. So just be there for a second and then you work 2 to 3. So if 2 is like on a drag, you'll also kind of come to him. Maybe you have a spy in the middle of the field, or potentially what I like to do sometimes is put a little 3-rec, drop a 3-rec from the line here, and then he can play that until he gets to the flat, or even a spy. Sometimes that does good, or sometimes maybe you don't even care about that, and then work to the potential dig over here, like if they're running the dig play that can't really be guarded with zone coverage. You can come back and make a play late on that. So it really frees you up to be in this area, so you don't have to cover that crosser yourself and leave a huge area underneath. So that's really, really nice. The other thing is, again, what I was talking about before is if we're putting that weak hook and that weak flat on, a deep flat and a short flat, then you really are isolated in the middle here. So if you have things like, if you're running things like slants, or like something, I don't know, this isn't a real combination, but something like this, you can see that weak hook is still able to get involved there. Now, I didn't throw that great, but he's able to get more involved than a deep flat would ever be able to do. So then you might wonder, well, why can't we just run regular cover 3? Like if I'm playing Mutt, these guys are all safeties anyway. These guys are safeties. There isn't too much difference between this guy and this guy. And that's all well and good. Well, first of all, if you're in regs or a sim league or something like that, you can't put that guy there. So that's one thing. But if you're in Mutt, and this doesn't matter, it's still important because that guy, for whatever reason, just doesn't consistently match. He sometimes matches, but he also sometimes doesn't. So like half the time he does, half the time he doesn't. So if I run it here, I have no idea if he's going to match or not. And even if he does, so in this case, he matched, but we're able to, again, get that on the sideline. And you would say if we have a safety there, he does a better job, which is okay, but you don't have that ability to, if I say go back, and I don't have that ability to show blitz and get that weak hook in that really nice position that guarantees that crosshair gets defended. So that's the gist of it, and we can get into some of the other things in the other popular formations. Now this works pretty much the same in trips tight end right here. So really you would expect nothing to really be different here because the tight end is just now attached. So same thing, you know, the tight end's running everybody off, and then you have the crosser, and the weak safety is cutting that crosser, and he makes a play really late. Now, here's something really weird. If number 3 has speed, which in Ultimate Team, these guys are likely going to have a ton of speed, in trips tight end and bunch tight end as well, you don't actually get the match. And this is something I haven't figured out yet. Hopefully I can. And if you guys do, please let me know. But if that guy has speed, so if it's not Mike Evans and if it's Godwin, then for whatever reason, the weak safety doesn't actually match. So I don't know what that's all about. But what you can do is you can cross-man that guy if you find that your guy isn't matching. And then again, you can show Blitz so you can get that better angle on him. And so same thing right here. And actually he got kind of bumped there, but you see he does a much better job at actually playing that. And one thing I should note, and I probably should have done this at the start, is that if you do any sort of shading, so if you are shading underneath or shading over the top, that's going to cancel any sort of matching. So no matter what, this guy will not match the crosser. So definitely don't do that. If you do want to have hard flats or cloud flats or anything, what you can do is you can put this guy manually in a curl flat, or you can put this guy manually in a hard flat if you want that. You can, because this is big nickel over G, you can use the corner, like you can cloud that area, right? You can cloud him, put him in a cloud flat or put him in a hard flat, and put the slot defender in outside third or an outside half. And I believe that actually plays better anyway, especially like if you're playing against gun bunch and you sometimes get those quick throws to the outside that are out leverage the flat defender. You can usually trap them with that cloud corner over there. So definitely don't shade. If you want underneath coverage, you can use those corners, or you can modify that will to do the hard flat adjustment there as well. Yeah, so really it's really just about calling this play and showing Blitz. Unfortunately, against bunch or trips tight end and bunch tight end, it's not as consistent for whatever reason. So hopefully once I figure that out, or maybe potentially there'll be a patch in the future, I can come back on another video with that. But until then, if you notice you guys are still getting beat, go ahead and show Blitz and cross-man that guy. Take him out of the play essentially, because if he goes vertical, he goes right at the safety. If he goes across, whether that's underneath or over the top, that cross-man safety should have him. And if he goes outside, well then you have a flat defender and an outside corner. So usually he's taken out of the play, and so you can again just take him initially and then work from 2 to 1, and hopefully these guys over here can cover the tight end and the running back. Okay, so again, some issues, but I think it's a really interesting coverage that you can definitely use. I've been using it a lot. I like it, especially since like when you call it, it looks just like cover 4 palms or cover 4 quarters. And so if you are running heavy match from there and you want to switch it up a bit and have some more kind of safe spot drop zone coverages, you can do that really, really easily without giving any sort of tells or anything like that. And then because it's big nickel over G, we can kind of switch between a cover 3, a cover 3 cloud, kind of a Tampa 2 look, all really, really very easily. Okay, so that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully not another large hiatus after this. Hopefully we can get some more videos out to you guys. Have a lot of fun ideas that I think you guys can all benefit from. But until then, that's it for this one. I'll see you guys then.